want to know why your websites are so boring and just not interesting, well, there's one key reason for that, and that's because you are not using CSS animations. And today I'm going to show you how to use it and how it works. It's simple. So now, before we get into the two different types of CSS animations, we're going to get into what is CSS animations. So CSS animations let you move or change different parts of your website over time. So it will be things like your one element can fade, it can change color, it can move left, right, up and down, or it can do all that at the same time. So that's what CSS animation is. Now we're going to get into the two different types of it. The first type of animation is transitions. So transitions are simple animations that happens when something is changed. So just say like if you click a button and it turns red, or you click a button and it moves a block around in a certain direction, that would be a transition. The second type of animation is keyframes. Now keyframes are more complex animations. So it would be things like a moving, just say like a character with legs and is just moving around. Or just more complex animations like a scroll animation could be one, or just different, more complex animations, and that's what keyframes animations are. So now we're going to talk about animations, CSS animations. So the first thing we're going to go over is the dev. So if we go over here is the dev tag. So you have to put that in there, or you can put any tag or whatever you want to change the properties of. Then you have your CSS link. You gotta make sure you have the link set up. And yep. So that's how you would do that. And then what it's doing is changing the colors of this block we have here, this little square. So of course we put the width of 100 width of 100 pixels, the height of 100 pixels, and then we have a color. The color by default is red, so it's going to be this red color. And then we have the animation name. So this is the first property of just CSS animations, is the animation name. So the animation name is what connects this this block right here, this block, to the animation itself, the keyframes. The keyframes is what the animation is. So that's that property. Then we got the animation duration, which is 4 seconds. That means how long the animation will go. So it's going to be going for 4 seconds. And animation delay. So if you want your animation to be delayed, you can delay it for 1 second, how many seconds, just say like if you go on the page and you want an animation to start at a specific time, you can use the duration. And these can also be changed to minutes. You got your seconds right here, and I believe it's M for minute, or and then we have the animation count, which is infinite. That means is how long the animation will go, how many times the animation repeats itself. So it's going to be repeating infinitely. It can repeat 1 time, or you can do it 2 times, how many times you want. So that's that. Now we have animation direction. Animation direction, of course, is if you want your animation in a different direction or the same. So now right now we have a normal. So you can reverse the direction of the animation. You can have it go from green to red, or have it go from red to green, which what we have right here is going from the default red all the way up to the last color. So that's what animation directions does, and that's for this property. Now we have the extra properties. Now these different properties is also important in some cases depending on what you want done, but we have animation timing function. Now animation timing function allows you to do things like ease in or ease out, or you can do both at the same time, ease in and ease out. And you know, those are the different timing functions you can do right there. I should have an example I should have an example that pops up right now to show y'all how that works. And then you have animation play state. So animation play state, you can pause your animation. So you can pause it where it is, and you know that's useful. Then you got animation fill mode. So animation fill mode allows you to set the default. So we know the default of this cube or this square is red, but you could also have the default to be at the end. So instead of being green, you can have it to red and different things like that. And that's what animation fill mode does. You can they have a after and a before value, and after or before value, and you can put the red before or after. So that's what animation fill mode does. And then we have right here is the actual animation itself. So there's plenty of ways you can do this. There's also a way where you can use transitions, which we're going to be talking about next, is transitions. And you can use those transitions to move this block around inside this keyframe section right here. So of course it's connected. So the whole syntax is like a function. So you have your keyframe, and then you have your color, which is the name, and then here's the block of code where your specific frames are at. And you can use transitions to move it around. You can use these colors right here to go through these different colors at specific percentages. So start from 0, which is red right here. And you got 25%, which is yellow. You got 50%, which is blue, and 100%, which is going to be green. This is going to be at the end of the animation. And that's how it works right here. You can use these numbers. But I'm going to show y'all how you do it with transitions later on in the video. But these are the fundamentals of animation, y'all. This is very, very simple. It's not hard at all to understand. And you can do cool things like this right here, where you just got the cube changing colors. I find that very cool. So yeah, y'all. So now we're gonna go into transition. So the first transition we have is translate X. So translate X moves the cube left to right, and translate Y moves the cube up and down. And it goes by negative and positive numbers. So right is positive and left is negative. And then for transition Y, down is positive and up is negative. So just keep that in mind when you are dealing with the translate properties, the transform properties I meant to say. And so this is the example for this. Is a little bit in a different direction, but if I get rid of it, this is what it would look like in its default position. So it's a little bit up. I just put it a little bit down. There you go. So that's translate X and translate Y. So we're gonna go on to the next property. Okay, so now we have rotate. So rotate, of course, it rotates your object in certain directions, and right now it's rotating 45 degrees. So you can change this and put it to, let's say, 360. This is the max right here. 360. Yep, go 360, go back around, and then you have let's do 77. And so that's how you rotate. Y'all. And we can move on to the next one, which is scale. That's what we're gonna move on to. Okay, so now we have scale. So we scaled up this block 1.5. So that's how much we scaled up. And it got bigger. Of course, you want to see the difference between the default. Boom, there you go, and it got smaller. There we go back. Oops, hold on. And it goes bigger. So that's scale, and it's very simple. Gets bigger, gets smaller. Now we're gonna move into a more different one. This one's more different. We're gonna go to. So now we're gonna go into the show value right here. So this one is in 20 degrees, and what it does is it tilts your element. So it tilts your thing, which looks cool. I really like. Think that's it. Other than the shortcut, y'all, it was to be on talk about the shortcuts in its individual part. So yeah, that's it, y'all. So here's some cool things you can do with CSS transitions and keyframes. And so for one example, we have the slide in. So right here, as you can see, the block is sliding in very slowly. And here's the keyframe, or here's the different things I did to make this happen. So the first thing I did is use translate X, which is going to be starting all the way in the corner, and or way over the corner, and then we have transition X with 0, which would take it back to the original position. And then of course you have your normal properties over here in your dev tag. This is duration, how long would last. You get your infinite and going in a normal direction. So this is what a slide effect, this little slide animations you can do. Another one also, let me show y'all another one. Hold on. You also have your bounce. So we got a cue bouncing, and that's going in the Y direction. Got going up and down, and that's one for the Y direction. Then you also have your expanding animation, which is using the scale. So here's an example of that. I got my different scales, and it's expanding. It's going from small to a little bit bigger into all the way big. And the same properties is the same for duration. You can actually change it, actually you want to. I think want to go real fast. Hold on. Yep, see? Now we got a heart. Look. And now we got a little heart beeping right here. So those are and so that's the scale animation I got for you, a little beeping or expanding animation. There's also another thing you can do, which is opacity, and that's also a very useful thing, which we're gonna go over in just a minute. Okay, so now we got the opacity, and what this does, it fades the element in and out. So and going from nothing to something, and it only starts from 0 to 1. So there's nothing higher or lower than that. It just goes from 0 to 1, and it stays the same for the properties on the dev. And yeah, that's the opacity. You also can do this separately too. This as its own property. You can have it. If we take away, you just take this opacity of 0. We take away the keyframe. Here we just take away all these little properties. You also can do it without having to do the keyframe. It's its own thing, so you can erase it from existence. So there you go. So that's opacity. So now we also have another thing, which is hover. Now this other this other low. So now we have this pseudo class called hover. So now hover, what it does when you put your mouse over a specific element, it could change the color, or it could activate something. So right here we have our normal block stuff, and we got transform scale, which will make it big, where to make the colors big. Matter of fact, we're gonna put this separately actually, because that's gonna be it's not gonna come out as. Let me go. So now we got our little block right here, and when we hover, it's gonna activate this little scale animation, or the scale transition. So let me show y'all. Hold on. So there you go. So every time you hover over it, it's going to get a little bit bigger, and that's just cool in general. You can do this with buttons or anything that you want. Really, you can do it with buttons or different pictures, or if you got there's a certain type of function and you want to do, you can evolve the hover pseudo element. So yep, and that's for the hover, you can do animations with that. Okay, so now we're going to talk about different shortcuts to make your journey a little bit easier when it comes to making animations. You can use for transitions. From the transform property, you can put different things like this, the scale with the translate at the same time. But with animations, you also can do it with the name too. So you can do animation name, animation duration, all these into one right here, which is you got the animation, you got your bounce, which is the animation name for 2 seconds. You easing in, and you're gonna do this you're gonna do this for affinity. So that's the easiest way to do it, and this is the shortcut right here. Then you also have different little plugins or add-ons you can add to your CSS to just make already made animations. Then you also have extensions, or I guess add-ons or plugins you can put with your CSS, which already have pre-made animations already ready. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, and just make it easier, which I'm going to tell y'all about that, some of the names. Just let me just take a minute to grab them. Hold on. So the big three add-ons you can do for your animations is animation CSS, which is one. Then you have GSAP, which is the one I use a lot of times when I want quick animation. And then you have Framer Motion. This is another one. And those are the big three of the animation add-ons. And yeah, y'all. So that's it for animations. And yep, that's it. Okay, y'all, that will be it for the video. I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe, turn on the notification button, and take a look at all my social medias for future posts and updates to my various projects and anything that I do. And yeah, just give me more tips, y'all. Tell me what else y'all would like to see, and anything that I could improve on in this video. And I'll see y'all later.